Welcome back to Kicking It with Kenya. First, let me just address. I must love y'all, love this show, because I'm hot. We came from outside, came back in here, but we busting these out because, I missed it so much because COVID took a lot from me. Like, we couldn't even get together, we was afraid to, I think when I saw you, I wore a mask to go in your car. Like, I was all gloved up. Like, COVID just, stopped everything. Yeah. It's like 1 minute everybody was joking about it. I remember people throwing COVID parties. I mean, I went to a COVID party, but the first day they was talking about shutting down. Like, F COVID or whatever.
You went to like an event, like a
No, it was like me and my friends was like the Corona kickback. Like
then
we all just
I've done that.
Everybody's job was shutting down, and that's why we thought it was like, it's gonna be a few days or a week. So she was like, everybody come over to the crib. So we came over to the crib, had a few drinks, and we finally got to see each other because we're working and everything. Yeah. But then once that shit started going 3 weeks, 4 weeks, next thing you know, I haven't been outside for the next 5 weeks. I'm like, all right, this is becoming death. All right, this is becoming real. Yep. So it's like thinking about how COVID just it just swooped in like a dragon and just paused and halted. I never thought I would live in a world where New York City shut down. Mm-hmm. When that happened, and I was like, because at first I'm like, all right, they're gonna shut down jobs. But when they started talking no more NBA
and the subway's gone,
clubs, bars, everything was just shutting down. That's when I'm like, this is becoming real. So it's like
the city that never sleeps is sleeping still, essentially.
Because it's still not nearly as busy as the city could be.
No, my friend is an NYPD police officer, and his commute literally was under a half hour from Rockland to the city.
My commute to my job was an hour. I live in Harlem, but I worked in the last stop in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And just thinking about waking up at 4:30 every morning and going to work. It's like getting into it. It's like you got to kind of think about, because honestly, we're not going to have the life we had before COVID.
We're not.
So it's like thinking about where life was before COVID. First of all, how was life before COVID for y'all? Don't all talk at once.
Life was good.
Oh, you enjoyed your life?
I always enjoy my life because I'm alive. And I have a roof over my head. I got clothes on my back. I got money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people that have things way worse than me. Mm-hmm. So who am I to complain? You know what I'm saying? Anything that I complain about as it relates to my life, I have the power to change. And I work to change those. I work to go to the heights that I want to go in my life with my goals and my dreams and aspirations. And anything that I want to do is attainable. My life pre this was good. My life during this, honestly speaking, was a come up. My life during this, honestly speaking, for me, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to wish this on anybody, and anybody. I know people that had this. Sadly, people have lost their lives from this. You know what I'm saying? And I would never wish this on anybody, but fortunately for myself, just speaking of me personally, I was able to, take care of things that I wanted to take care of. I was able to, be productive with how I spent my time. I didn't just spend my time, just sitting around, not doing nothing and waiting to go back. I got to read some books that I wanted to read. I got to, save some money. I got to write a lot more than I normally did because I had a lot more time. So because I had so much time, it's just like, okay, how can I use this time productively? So now that this is entering the next phase of trying to get back some sense of normality, some sense of normalcy, now it's just like, okay, I'm better positioned than I was a couple months ago. You know what I mean? For what I want to do.
So what was one of the things that was a better position? It helped you better it?
I would honestly say, I'm not really a big money spender when it comes to dumb, quote unquote, dumb things. I don't spend thousands on belts or clothes, or I don't really go clubbing like that. I spend money on the movies. I like to go to the movies a lot. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the things that I normally would spend money on, I'm not spending money on. So it's just, it's mm-hmm. collecting, it's adding. I'm not even spending money on gas because I'm not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So during that time, it's more so me keeping focused on, certain things that I want to do. It's like, okay, once this is passed, or once we get back to some sense of what we had, what do I want to do next? Okay, I want to complete this project. I want to complete this project. I need money for this. I need money for this. Let me divvy this. Let me divvy this. Let me do this and do this. So it was really a time for me to really reflect on what I want, where I want to go with my life, where I want to possibly go to next from a living standpoint, where I want to go to next from just an achievement standpoint. And it was really a good time of reflection and productivity that I feel like reset my mental for now that I'm getting back to where I was before. Now I feel like I'm like recharged in a sense, and I'm rejuvenated because it's like I had time to miss it also. You know, for a lot of people, when we were working, a lot of people were like, oh my God, can we shut down? Oh my God, I want to shut down, da 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 da. Then when you were shut down and you were furloughed or whatever, then, oh my God, I'm so bored. I want to get back to this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so now when you have time to get back to that, now it's almost like you miss it. Now it's almost like, oh my God, because you feel some sense of productivity. You feel some sense of that. And that's where I'm at now. You know, now I'm back to, you know, we're back doing this. We're discussing doing things in the future, and we have our feet stepped in the right direction to really plan and really go to where we want to go next. And I felt like this time, that little 2.5 months of which I was furloughed, which I wasn't working, you know, and I was able to collect unemployment. You know, I was fortunate. Like I said, a lot of people.
I mean, listen, shout that out, because honestly, that helped a lot of people.
It did.
Helped a lot of people get out of a lot of debt.
But like I said, for a lot of, and there you go. See, I'm fortunate enough to not have debt. My credit is good. You know what I mean? Like I don't, like I said, but I know a lot of people that were able to get themselves out of debt. I know a lot of people that were able to, you know, plan things and save up money that they probably wouldn't have been able to save.
No.
You know, and it also gives you time from a money standpoint to really reflect on how much money you actually spend on a daily basis or a weekly basis. You know what I'm saying? So there were a lot of positives to come out for me of this big negative situation. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I tried to focus on the positives, but for me, there were a lot of positives that came out of this. So now as we enter into this hopefully post-COVID world, you know, I mean, it's still around, of course, but I feel like now you have a new sense of appreciation for things you may have taken for granted. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I feel everyone takes for granted is living. Yeah. Because you just assume you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to go about the same. We don't know this. Tomorrow's not promised. Nope. You know what I'm saying? I know people that during this crisis that aren't here anymore. Nope. You know what I'm saying? I've lost family members. I've lost friends. I know people that aren't here anymore because of this or because of events. You know, just in general, life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So we must take every day and we must live it to the best and be thankful that we are here to live it. We are breathing.
I mean, that's a fact. That's a word right there. Because, like, yeah, everything you said was one big word. Especially I like the word you use, like reset. And it's like, before I get into that, like, I have to ask you, Tommy, how was your life before COVID?
I'm not even gonna lie. My, like, it's very hit or miss with me.
So it's like polar opposite from what you said.
I don't want to say polar opposite. I'm very thankful for the life that I've been given. I'm very thankful for the opportunities I've been given, and I do think that, you know, I pre, during, and post COVID, I do have a very, you know, I don't want to say comfortable, but I have a good life. Is there negative aspects of my life? Everybody has negatives. Everybody has shit that they go through. Everybody has, you know, times when they're down and out. It just happened to be 2019 for me, for a majority of it. As good as certain things were, there were some things that really made me question, like, just the direction that this whole world was going in, especially from where I stood. And thankfully, right before the pandemic really took full effect, one of the reasons, one of the struggles that I was going with was, you know, finding a job. So I was able to actually, you know, find a new job, change the place of work, and that allowed me to, you know, just have a new positive outlook on things. You know, for, you know, the job that I held before was a retail job that really was not doing anything beyond putting money in my pockets and not allowing me to save up at all. So, you know, and then combine that with wrestling, and of course I had stuff from school that I had to pay off, and just every negative antidote was piling up on me. And it's like, I felt like, it's like that song, you know, by Bone Thugs and Akon. It's like, I take 5 steps forward and 10 steps back. And it's like, that was my mindset in that, it like, for all of last year. And that's just, and I had to get out of that. And finding a job allowed me to do that and helped restore a lot of my confidence and a lot of, like, my positive outlooks on things. And then the pandemic happened. And thankfully, I've been working from home ever since. So, you know, like
you were fortunate enough to have a job.
Yes, I was fortunate enough that thankfully, like, I was able to keep my job working from home, which has its positives and its negatives. Obviously, the positive being I've been able to save up money. Like Lou said, I've been able to, you know, I wasn't somebody who was in an insane amount of debt, but I had bills that had been put off and spending habits that needed to be corrected, that working from home and cutting out, like, example being wrestling was gone. I had months of wrestling stuff lined up at the time of the pandemic. Lou remembers we did ACW, American Coliseum Wrestling, did a show in the Palisades Center February 28th that almost did not happen. No relation to the COVID or anything, but like almost did not happen. And we packed that son bitch out. There was people literally from the bottom floor all the way up to the top by where the ice skating rink, and that was awesome. And then a week and a half later, all wrestling I had was canceled. I had match.
You at least had that one good match, though.
I had that one good match, but I had opportunities that really mentally were what I needed to get out of the funk that I was in. Wrestling, because in wrestling they say you're only as good as your last match. So I had to. I'm very much a person where it's like I need to have stuff to look forward to and objectives to hit, and I felt like that was swept from underneath me. So that's a negative to it. I had matches that I was really looking forward to. One of them being against King Mo from Bellator. You know, my brother and I were supposed to wrestle him in a tag team match. That was something I was really looking forward to. We were supposed to go down, WrestleMania for WrestleMania week to Orlando. That's for those who don't know, that's like a week of Mardi Gras but with wrestling, and it's all these shows, all of these conventions, all of like and everything just got taken from us because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And a year ago, I would have really been like, nah, this ain't. I would have flipped. But because of the positive outlook that I had with getting a new job and trying to think of the positives in the situation, it's like there are definitely negatives about missing wrestling, and I absolutely, I await the days that, shows can return. I have jumped back into training, so that's been both a positive and a negative. The 3 months off, trust me, that pain is real, getting back in the ring.
Oh, yeah, your shape.
Trust me, like three months of not bumping and is like, because every match is basically you're in a car accident.
Right.
So 3 months of not doing that to your body, it will like catch up with you for when you do go back in. And thankfully I've been training again, but it's real. So it's almost like learning to ride a bike again. But Lewis used a word, reset, and I do feel like that's kind of what I've allowed myself to do in this COVID and in this pandemic was, reprioritize my things and reprioritize what what I'm looking for. And I've allowed to, like I said, save up money, pay off some things that needed to pay off, reaccumulate, my wealth, look at my finances and everything, and set new objectives for myself that would not have been possible had life's
still been going on.
Correct, because when you pay for gas. I travel 100 miles one way to go and train. You know what I'm saying? It's a raw way, so it's like that adds up. Tolls, food, being on the road, etc. All of these things, I was able to redistribute, my income, and like Lou said, it worked out for the better. You're able to save up money. You're able to have peace of mind knowing that, okay, I don't necessarily have to, I don't have to be there this day. I don't have to be there at a certain time. I don't have to,
because everything is close.
Exactly. So, that being said, the pandemic has been a mixed bag. I've seen a lot of friends, some I haven't seen. I've been able to resume my life as much as I possibly can, but in the same token, it's like I can't go to shows. I can't, I can't go to bars indoors and everything like that.
We can. Money.
Exactly. So it's a positive and a negative, and I'm happy that I was able to work myself out from a negative situation and turn it into a positive, and I know people that have done the same, and I know people like Lou that or like Lou said, additionally that this is really a negative for them. So you kind of have to like wake up and smell the coffee a little bit.
Because at least you're alive and you woke up.
At least I'm alive. At least I'm well. At least everybody in my immediate family is doing okay, and that's all you could really ask for. And it really does. The pandemic has definitely helped reprioritize, I think, a lot of things for a lot of people, and I think that's for the better. Somewhat, I think it's for the worse, because now it's people are putting their energy and their attention into other things, and maybe it's for the good, maybe it's for the bad. So, you know, I could just speak on behalf of myself and what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's like with me, like, so I'm kind of like in the wedge between like both like Louis and you. And I think like when it comes down to me, it's like career-wise, I'm fine. You know, like I'm a teacher, I have a job. And, you know, like it's not like I was struggling per se, but it was like a mental stress for me. Like it's like not necessarily my job, but life itself was mentally starting to get to a place for me. I didn't realize it until this COVID, but life itself was mentally starting like to drain me. Like just the simple act of even like waking up to go to work. Like I said, my commute was like an hour. School starts at 7. So me waking up at 4:30, having to truck myself all the way to the train and, you know, all of that. Like just even like like that was starting to really take a toll. And like even like being like I don't know. I just wasn't my best self this year as an educator because of like other things that was going on. And it's just like, I just felt like mentally I was just, looking back at it, I can say mentally I wasn't fully happy. Like, and yes, I was like doing my thing, you know, like taking my trips or going to brunch. But I noticed like a lot of the times I was doing that stuff to like escape from some things because I just didn't want to like, I don't know, I was just stressed. And you know, when you're stressed out, you turn to things that are easiest. You turn to things that are like social events, partying, drinking, you know, things like that. But it's never like you address the real issue. And it's never like, and then I found myself being really tired for no reason, having a lot of pain for no reason. Like it's amazing like the things that you like keep inside. And like in no way am I saying like thank God for COVID, because I know a lot of people lost a lot of family, and I'm not underlining on any of that.
I'm not. Let's make that clear. None of us are trying to paint
we're not.
It's been a struggle for everybody, and we've seen some of the most despicable things come to light in this situation.
And you know, and that's the thing. Like I feel like in no way am I saying like I'm trying to like say COVID was a blessing, because I know a lot of people,
it was cathartic.
It was. It's like a realization. It's like something snapped, and it's like the shutting down of the city and to not be able to go to work and to just be able to be still. A lot of the times, especially us as New Yorkers, well, me being in the city, like I live in the city, you always feel like
it's the same everywhere.
Yeah, it's like you always feel like you have to move.
You gotta go.
You have to move. Like it just feels like you're not out this weekend, because if you're not out this weekend, you're looking at people on Instagram and you're like, dang, I should have been out this weekend. Or like you're not really fully sleeping because you feel like I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be doing this, that, but you get this.
It's a grind.
It's constantly a grind, and you've kind of felt guilty in the sense of like even saying I'm going to just do nothing, because even if you did nothing, like your friends are still doing something, or your family is still doing something, or somebody's still doing something. Like there was a meme floating around at the beginning of this COVID shit that kind of pissed me off a little bit, and it was like, if you don't come out of this COVID with a business or something, then you just slacking. I'm like, all right, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, a lot of people never got this rest. There's a lot of people, like when I think about my life, and I was talking about this with Louis a lot. When I think about my life, like I have been grinding. Like I have been high school, then college, and in college I worked 2 jobs, and I got a master's, and then it's like I just been moving a lot, and it's like if I don't want to start a business, I don't got to. And sometimes that's okay to say, like I don't gotta start a goddamn business. Sometimes like I think spending time with family is just enough. Like, you know, I live with my grandmother. I think spending time with her was enough. I think if you have kids and finally being able to wake up and like cook them breakfast is enough.
I've had more sit-down dinners with my mom than I have ever.
I think those things, and I felt like me, like my whole push was mostly like health related. Like I changed my diet. Now I eat more vegetarian meals. I'm learning how to cook those up a lot. I'm exercising more. And then like kind of like touching on like what both you and Louis are saying about like smelling the roses and like doing things like, I live right a block away from Central Park. Ask me how many times I really frequent Central Park.
Before COVID?
Before COVID.
I would imagine probably less than 5.
I don't even cut through the thing to go to the thing.
Not at
all. I don't frequent, but it's like, now me and my friends are doing cute things like picnics in the park. And it's like just talking. Like we're just talking.
I love hiking. I've gone on more hikes during this pandemic than I have my entire life.
Right, and I'm bike riding again. Like I actually took the bike, and I was telling Louis one time, like, I'm gonna hit you up after my bike ride. I took the bike. I didn't even take the train. I took the bike to my doctor's appointment. Like just to do it. And it's like certain things like that, like and then connecting with old friends. I'm actually talking to people I went to college with that I have not spoken to in years. Like watching stories of people like, I spend a lot of my time on social media, but like connecting with those people again, like that felt really good. And it's just like, I don't know. I just, where I was mentally and where I am now, I feel like a much happier person. And I feel like I'm getting a lot more fulfillment through things. Like, even if I do, like, I'm no longer guilty about binge watching a series on the couch. I'm just like, I mean, come on.
I've binged a lot.
But like, I'm not guilty about it. Like, it's
not, no. You mean I thought you meant you're not guilty of it. You meant you're not guilty about doing it.
I'm not guilty about doing it. Like,
I've never felt guilty.
I watched all of Tiger King in one day with no shame. With no shame.
I did it in about a day and a half. I watched the first episode. I think I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and it's like I started episode 2, and before you knew it, I had finished the whole series.
Like, I binge watched so many series that I don't care. Like, I don't care. People are like, okay, and you're not going... Nope. Like, it just... And then, like...
What is there to do? What is there to do? And not for anything. By watching it, you're supporting, you're helping, you know...
Those people.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like the saving of the money thing, because I know Louis could attest. Me and student loans. Like, I think there was a point where I told you I'm about to go on the pole. Like, I really thought I was going... I'm like, yo, I gotta pay these down. But just to, like... One of the eye-opener things you're talking about, it was... So all this time, y'all could have canceled this crap? Now you don't gotta pay it. Like, they put it on like one big pause, and like I guess they're going to say you can resume payments starting in September. But my whole thing is, all this time I've been taking all of this money out my account, and it was always possible for y'all to give us this break, and y'all never gave it to us. Like, when I was finally able to, like, now, because now it's like they're saying that there's not going to be no interest accrued because you're not paying. It's like, at first I'm like, I'm gonna still pay, but I'm like, nah. I'm going to save this money because I'm going to save it. And it's just like, that was a big weight. Like, it almost made me want to cry. Like, it's big weight to not pay those damn student loans. Like, it's stressful.
It is. And then they guilt you into the fact that you don't pay them, but it's like, wait a minute, I'm entitled to an education that I should be getting.
Because if you don't get the education, you don't get the money.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you know, all of these institutions that, you know, collect these student loans and everything like that, you know what they go directly to pay. They don't go to pay the school. They go to pay the salaries of the professors who, you know, sit on freaking, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Not professors, people on the board, not the professors.
People on the board.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? I can't think of the word. I'm drawing such a blank right now.
But it is
tenure.
Oh.
They're sitting on like, I can't tell you how many professors that I had, you know, in college that I was just like, really, bro? Why are you still here? And all of these student loans...
And it's not even going to improving the campuses.
No, it's not. It's I mean...
I feel like those buildings got to be paid off by now. They cannot still be having to
If that's the case, then why are all of these... Like, okay, so like I went to SUNY Rockland for 2 years, RCC, and then I went to Dominican to finish out. RCC... that place needs a whole renovation. That's besides the point. So that's why it's you know, people don't technically take out a whole lot of student loans there. It's a community college. But Dominican is a private school. And again, they have dorms and all that. So I could take all these classes and get the same education at RCC, but I'm paying because of all the, you know, they're building dorms, they're adding
That's why
library.
If I knew better, I would have took my general classes in like a community college, and then I would have went and transferred over if I knew.
Yeah.
But it's like, you even feel guilty for the damn degree once you see your bill.
Yeah.
Like, you just feel like, why did I even go? Especially when you know other people who are like not having to deal with this debt. It's like, you're better off. But it's like that, and like the eye opener of like, our healthcare system sucks ass. Like,
yep.
There are so many people like, why, like, in debt. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's like the aha, like, I remember there was a meme that said, it was like the Scooby-Doo, you know, when they unveiled, and they like unveiled it was like United States, and they unveiled and they said glamorized third world country. And I just was like, holy crap. Like,
it's true though.
I don't know. Like, even what Louis was talking about with the unemployment, right? So you get an extra $600 on top of the salary you would have got. And people were like, oh my God, people are like stacking and that's not fair. I'm like, but how about we switch the narrative? How about we talk about how our government always had this money on loan and refused to help people? Instead of sitting there blaming people for getting unemployment, why is it that we're not blaming the capitalist society that we're in, that this government had these funds and refused to just help?
Well, you want to know what it was. America was in debt, and we took out an advance on our own debt to pay these people. So really, like...
We're still in debt.
What's up? We're still in debt, so it doesn't solve the. And then for all the money, like some of my family members are collecting unemployment. People collect unemployment and whatnot, and that's great. We're stacking up the money. Who's to say that a couple months from now they don't turn around and all of a sudden gas is $5 again, or a gallon of milk is $10 all of a sudden?
And that's the thing with the post. So now we're getting into post-COVID. So what do we think that's going to look like? I feel like Louis, we kind of left you out of conversation.
Yeah.
What do you think the post-COVID might? Like, because now we're stepping into what post-COVID might look like.
But yeah, so right now, Lou and I live in Rockland. You live in Manhattan, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we currently right now are between phase 2 and 3. You are still in phase
1 until tomorrow.
And what Governor Cuomo said is that these are loose phases, meaning that if there should be rising in the COVID rates, because basically Rockland County and Manhattan are the two highest rates for COVID in New York. Let's keep that a buck. So Cuomo basically said, at any given point, we could go from any of the phases back to 1 or...
Because you see what's happening in Florida right now.
Yeah, they're spiking. Exactly. So, what do you think's going to happen? You're back to work, so your post-COVID life is pretty much taken. I'm home for the summer.
I'm still home. I'm a teacher.
I mean, honestly speaking, we did a conspiracy theories topic not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been some funny stuff with these numbers that we hear about, because I know a lot of people that are in a certain field, and they'll have people that are dying from things not COVID related, but they're marked as COVID.
Mm-hmm. Because maybe it was in there for
No, it's just someone just died from something, because people die from other things other than just COVID. People die every day, COVID or not. But if they're, like I said, anytime someone posts anything on any place with any amount of numbers or 11,000, how do you know? How do you know? Where are you getting these numbers from? Where are you getting these facts from? Oh, the protest just started and numbers spike. How do you, in 2 days, you know that? You know what I'm saying?
Because usually the symptoms will start for 14
But as I was saying, but you see certain articles where specifically like, oh, since this protest happened in this area, how do you know? All of these people just went there and just got tested, and now you know in 2 days? When you're telling us you don't see symptoms within, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like anytime someone just tells you numbers, people just run with these numbers. And I feel like a lot of it are tactics to scare people into A, not going out and going crazy, and B, wanting to take a vaccine. Because you have a lot of people that are against vaccines, that do not want mandatory vaccination. And I feel like a lot of this is media control, and I'm not saying it's untrue or this is fake, whatever. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is I feel like a lot of it is being overblown, and a lot of it is being intensified with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I also do feel like, like even when it comes to like certain things with safety precautions, like distance 6 feet, and how 6 feet?
What trial did you run? What test did you run?
6 feet? Oh, I can't wait till the vaccinations come out so I can try it. Really? You want to take the first cure that comes out? The first cure? Who are they going to test it on?
Like we haven't seen what happened before. You know what they're going to test it on? The
people that take the first cure. Oh, that didn't work. We're going to try it this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, just even when it comes to masks, like, oh, I have to, let me wear a mask so I don't get,
but now
it's a virus.
A
mask is going to just stop that. It's a virus.
Yeah, but now they're getting to a point where, the masks are coming into law effects. Like you have to wear a mask out in public, at least for entry
to go into entry places.
Exactly. So
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not.
The psychology behind it doesn't really make all that much sense, but it's what
it's like security theater. Yeah. Like like that. Like I have control over it because I put a mask on, but we all know secretly it might not do shit.
No, but here's what I'm saying. In theory, I don't have a problem. Listen, if you want to walk outside with gloves or the vaccine and all of this, you want to walk outside in a freaking bee, rubber suit, whatever. I don't have a problem with what anyone wants to do for their own safety or for the safety of others. I actually think it's a good thing. Better to be more on the line of precaution than not. I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm saying is I feel like a lot of what we hear is getting blown to a point to personally cause a lot more people to think that
100%. 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
That's always been the case.
And that's just what I believe. I'm not necessarily even saying that it's a bad thing to think that way, because it's always better to be safe than not safe. It's like when I drive and I don't wear a seatbelt, and that's I have that ignorant mentality because I've never gotten into a car accident. Knock on wood. You know what I'm saying? Like now, who's to say if I don't get in a car accident, I would never do that again? If I'm fortunate enough to survive that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people have that same mentality when it comes to something like this, where it's just like, if you've never caught it, you've never gone through it, you don't know anyone that's gone through it, but then you catch it, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And then now
you want to take different precautions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's with anything. You know, you get robbed, you don't have an alarm system, then you go out and get an alarm system. Well, that's the point. You hope it never happens to you, but you take precautionary steps so it doesn't, or if it does, you're prepared for it. And for me personally, I think in the not post, but now where we're entering now, I just feel like when it comes to things like just as I know we can't be trusted as individuals to do our own thing, but it's just like, just do shit that we should be doing. Sanitize, wash your hands. We shouldn't need a virus to tell us to do that. We should be washing ourselves. You go to the gym. I go to the gym. This is the equipment I want to use. Wipe it down, blah, blah, blah. Use it, sweat, wipe it down. Go to the next machine. If we all do that, we can coexist, right? But not everybody's going to do that. Not everyone's going to take that extra 1 freaking minute it takes to just wipe down the machines when you're done using them. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing when you go out. Like, even when you go out to chill with your boys, when they're saying, oh, like, you shouldn't be up. Me and my dudes chill. We ain't up on each other anyway. Like, we like maybe like this. Like, we chilling.
This is the closest people.
Yeah, like we're not like all up on each other cuddling and shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, coughing to your sleep. That's what we do. We don't cough in someone's face.
But you know what's sad though? A lot of people don't though. Like,
no, but that's
when you think about it though,
a lot of people don't, but a lot of people do.
That's why I said everybody can't be trusted. But I'm saying if we all did these individual things that we should be doing anyway, I feel like it could take huge strides into trying to prevent a lot of things. Because the thing about it is, listen, as with any sickness, you're not going to prevent this 100%. But the purpose is to stop the spread of it so fast and stop the spike in huge numbers. That's why you're opening things slowly. So you're getting people back in there slowly. You don't want to have people rushing into and then have your hospitals filled up to the brim again.
I feel like with the slow opening though, this is my theory on it. My whole thing is this. There's a lot of people that they say will have the virus, but there's no way of them telling, like, they're asymptomatic. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, those are the people that could possibly get a spread. So this is my thing, right? When they said, remember that whole, like, you can't be in no more of a group of 5? Okay, so what if that third person has it? Like, did the group really matter? You know what I'm saying?
But now they're turning around and saying that asymptomatic spread is very rare.
See? And then it's like, but still, it's like, that's the stuff I'm talking about. I'm so confused. Like,
so you know what that only proves? They don't know.
Nobody knows.
That's the point. You don't know.
And that's
You keep telling people these facts, but you don't know. You said doctors have said we've done, so you don't know.
It becomes a game of fantasy, like medicinal freaking like forensics and all that, and people.
It's like that's my issue with this whole situation in general. Like,
leave it to the doctors to provide the information. Don't get your information from like politicians or people like that.
Right, because you know how many doctors made YouTube channels just to debunk the stuff that politicians were saying. Yeah. They're like, that does not make like absolutely no freaking sense. Yeah. But it's like also it's like I don't understand why we're like spewing out information. I get that the public may want to know, but my whole thing is I don't get why we're spewing out information without knowing 100% what we're talking about.
Because it's people and it's what they do.
It's like I don't know, but I feel like that creates more harm than good.
You're basically you're speaking facts.
Yeah, like you're creating way more harm than good because like.
I don't disagree, but this is what happens because we have a society that fosters negativity and fear. We have a society that will literally put all of this on the news to do exactly what they want us to do, which is why when it first came out, people were going in and stocking up on all these items, creating fear.
I'm not gonna lie. Me and my grandma, we stocked up on mad groceries like the first Friday.
Because
we thought that when they said the city was gonna shut down, that there would be no grocery stores for some reason. Because that's how they.
But do you see what you did? You went off of the presumption without knowing necessarily that. Yes, these places would still be open, but the way that they are operated and the way that
that's going to change.
Right. That's the problem is people popping off without knowing any of all the facts and the information. And as a result, in doing so, they've created a bigger problem than it necessarily needed to be. We couldn't go a week without finding toilet paper, and my mother still can't get chicken or turkey. Stuff like that because and
the Lysol cans just like never no more. They're not even making like what the hell else.
Exactly. Like, because we live in a society that foremongers fear and pushes out negativity so that people will consume.
Right. And then like my thing is even going back to what you said, Louis, about things that people should be doing. The biggest thing was before COVID. like, we was living in a society where even if you wanted to take a sick day, it was, like, really hard for some people with certain jobs. Yeah. They can't just take a sick day. They can't just call out. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of the times, like, I feel like when you're opening certain things again, are those things going to change now? Like, because if that's still going to stay the same, then you're still forcing these people to come into work knowing that they're sick. I just feel like we need to start moving in a way for the post-COVID era. I just feel like there has to be changes in understanding, like, in, like, PTO and, like, vacations, or, like, even, like, maybe if there's an underlying, like, more sick days or something, like, where a person can still get all of their pay. Because I know some jobs that I learned was, like, if they, like, obviously we know if you're hourly, you call out, you ain't getting paid. But I just feel like, all right, this person could be sick, and we're not encouraging this person to stay home because they ain't gonna how they want to feed their kids or how they want to feed themselves. So I feel like there has to come a place post-COVID, like, if we're gonna open things up again, those things gotta change. Yeah. Because, like, obviously we could wash our hands and sanitize all we want, but if this person came into work with a sniffle and a cold, no matter how many times I wash my hands, just by you standing here, like, I'm getting it. Especially, like, me being a teacher, like, their whole thing is, like,
are dirty.
Oh my God. Like, they don't mean to be, but they're dirty. Like, they're really disgusting. And I taught kindergarten. So, like, they really don't know about why. Kids will get the soap and then just wash it off their hand. They're not even rubbing their hands together. So it's like, you're thinking about how schools are going to run. I feel like, even, like, one time, even in the beginning of the school year 2019, for some reason, around November, December, so much of our staff was out off of just a flu. This flu came in like a hurricane in my building, where, like, one time we had 24 kids out on one floor. Wow. 24 kids out. Brooklyn? Yeah, 24 kids out. And then, like, 6 staff members. Everybody was just sick. Yeah. So it's like, that was the flu. I don't know what COVID's going to do, but I just feel like certain things have to change in a way. And in a weird way, I felt like this virtual learning was a blessing, because I felt like I did better teaching this way too, because the parent was right there as well. So, like, a lot of the content was, like, really getting to the kids. But, like I said, with post-COVID, I just feel like things like no matter what, I feel like we're going to hit a second wave.
A second wave is inevitable.
I just feel like a second wave is going to happen. And when we think about things like movie theaters, how in the hell is that even going to run? That's an enclosed space. No matter how much distance you put per chair, we're still breathing the same air. Isn't it generated AC?
Well, they were talking about you'd have to wear masks at the movie theaters.
But the masks don't really do much. We already said that.
And not only that, if a person has difficulty breathing and nobody wants to wear a mask indoors to watch the movie when you should be reaching for your popcorn and your soda.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're still eating. Yeah. So you're not going to serve food anymore?
Exactly. So
just like with restaurants, when they set the little partitions.
Certain things are not going to, they're not going to be able to open until there's a vaccine. And
well, beyond even that, you'll have certain places like the movie theaters that it doesn't really matter what precautions they put in place. You have to ask yourself how many people are going to feel comfortable enough or prioritize going to the movies.
But I thought that they were saying that maybe they might utilize some spaces for drive-ins. Movies.
Drive-in is different.
But I thought that would be good. That would be like the comeback of a drive-in movie theater.
Drive-ins would be awesome, and they've even had this past weekend they did a drive-in wrestling show, which I think is interesting, but it doesn't. It's still
corns.
People sit in their car and it's all just around a ring and everything. They did Game Changer did a show yesterday where it was it would be like a row of it would be a group, then they would be spaced 6 feet, and then it worked. It was different. There's definitely going to be a lot more trial and error in certain things because of COVID, but I think eventually these are all realistic things that have to be taken into consideration, because again, if the movies, it's just like with the NBA. If the movie theaters cease to open up, that's a $1 billion industry that was already crippled to begin with because of piracy. So now, what is the future of the movie business? Is everything just going to be digital and on demand now? And if that's the case, well, there's something different about the experience of going to a movie theater versus watching it at home. Yeah,
being submersed into reality. I like that feeling of like when the credits finally roll up and it's like you're back into reality and you walk outside with your friends and it's like you kind of escape the world for a little bit during that movie. Yeah. It's like, but this is my thing, right? So with COVID, I feel like I would take it back to my job. I feel like we always should have been at a place as far as education is concerned where we did both. We should have been in school and also a lot of virtual online too. Because, like, let's face it, That's the future. That's the wave of the future anyway. Like, as far as, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the personal feeling of it all with the kids, but like, they predicted a pandemic years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's like we as a society never prepared for that. No, it's like we always do things last minute.
We were underprepared. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, a lot of people in society think that they are above the world.
Just like a lot of jobs. Like, if anything, this probably woke a lot of people up realizing that their jobs were now always capable to do at home. Like, you guys were always like my thing is people were going to work and you was forcing this work with a not at home option, but now all of a sudden the same job I was able to do in the crib, I mean in the office, I'm now able to do it at home. So are you now going to tell these people they have the option to work from home?
You know
like,
what?
That's the post-COVID, right?
Well, so my company, an example, I've spoken to, you know, both my direct supervisor and based off of an email that I got from the head of the company, and basically what I think is going to happen, we work in an office, so it's like an office space. So eventually what's going to happen is I think people are going to have like shifts, meaning like, you know, some people come in on one day, some people come in on another day.
That's what they're talking about doing with teaching.
Yeah, and it'll be, you know, it'll be maybe like half a day you work in the office, then you go home or something like that. Me personally, you know, I see the goods and bads to returning to work and working from home. One hand, working from home, you save money, you're in the comfort of your own home, and, you know, you could work at your own pace and still, you know, get the work done. Like me personally, my day, I wake up at 8:30. By 8:45, I'm clocked in and just I'm chilling.
And you got to sleep.
Yeah.
And you was probably better at work because you didn't have to worry about the commute. Commute adds a lot of stress.
To an extent, but the commute wasn't detrimental to the point that, like, I didn't want to do it. It was an extra hour that I would have to get up. It's a toll. And it's, you know, on days that I would have to wrestle, you know, I have to leave early so that I could beat, you know, the traffic and everything like that. On the flip side, I liked going to the office. I had objectives going into the office. It was a new workplace. It was a new environment to meet people, to grow as a person, to grow as an individual. I feel like as a society, we are so backwards, and really, that's one of the negatives about the COVID. I think that really, or the pandemic rather, I feel like really people have forgotten how to act and how to be civil. So I feel like, you know,
actually going to work, kind of like the...
Yes, I feel like it's something to strive for. It's something to look forward to. We can't all always be in our own safe spaces, in our safe bubbles. Mm-hmm. We have to be able to, like there's a saying in wrestling, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And in the era of a pandemic, that's a little extreme. Should this all come back, you know, and we live in a society where COVID is not the forefront of society, and it's going to be interesting because you're going to have people, like you said, that are would rather work from home, would rather, you know, be precautionary, would rather not take risks. Then you have other people that are living in the world right now that are going to the beach during a pandemic, that are going out and
seizing opportunities.
Yes, yeah. So it's just it really is going to change a lot of business avenues, and I see it as both a positive and a negative. Companies will probably save money in downsizing, being able to pay their employees
because they don't got to pay the building fee.
Right. But, you know, who's to say that's going to hinder the, you know, I think after a while people will become lazier just working at home.
See,
it'll be like WALL-E.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
I'm a Pixar lover.
I
did not like
WALL-E.
that. I think that was. I did not like that movie.
But did you not like it because you felt like that could possibly be our reality?
I didn't like it because I didn't like being in the theater and not hearing any dialogue for an hour.
But I liked that aspect. I was entertained.
It was. I saw it when I was a lot younger. I haven't seen it since. It wasn't. I'm a 20.
Watch it now.
I think this is a conversation for another episode.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, no, but I felt like...
We are running a little long on this.
Yeah, but I feel like when the only...
We're living in WALL-E right now, where we're all sitting at home on our lazy boys and our computers and, you know, just...
But once again, life is what you make it, because I became more fit during this time. I became more fit. But when I say, like, I felt like a business that really did suffer a lot... Like the entertainment, the restaurants, like even with this phase 1, like 2 opening, like you're only allowed to open if you have the outside seating outside seating. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have that, like, yes, you could deliver, but a lot of your revenue was people coming in and sitting down.
Yes.
So it's like, you know how many mom and pops like suffered? Like so many businesses like had to unfortunately close down because they weren't able to like, one, get like, that's why it's like, I don't want to make it seem like this COVID for me personally, we're all talking about our experiences.
Yeah.
That's how COVID was for us. But with everybody else, there are people out there that really suffered and like really lost businesses and really lost family and things like that. So it was like post-COVID, it's like, honestly, I kind of want to know how in the hell this is going to work come winter.
I want to know, I would just like to know what the contingency plan is.
In the event of a second wave?
In the event of a second wave and in the event of this is bigger than we even comprehended. And it's pretty big to begin with.
It is.
But I'm talking about, okay, like, you look at this is the most worldwide epidemic since AIDS. Worldwide.
Yeah, because everybody was on one accord for once.
Exactly. So when you look at it like that, now you realize how deep it really is, and if we can't bounce back from that, I would like to know what the contingency plan is for if there should be a world that like this is how.
Because even like with like international flying,
yeah,
that's an issue too, and I love to travel.
Yeah.
So it's like even when Cuomo was like people coming from Florida might like if you're visiting Florida, you come back to New York. He was thinking like about a 2-week quarantine for those people, and it's like. Dang, like when am I ever going to go take my trip to Jamaica?
My friend who was training in Germany got stuck overseas for like a month and a half because he went to Germany to train for a month and then COVID like completely took over, so he had to get his ass to the UK just so he could get a flight back to the US.
So it's like even those things is like, so Louis, what's something that you think, what are you looking forward to anyway?
I like traveling. I'd say I'm looking forward to traveling again.
How do you think that? I don't know. Like, it's like, even with the seats, right? Like, I heard they took away the middle seat. And, like, now it's, like, a lot of things where, like, you control it through your phone on an airplane versus touching the screens. And once again, I'm like, why wasn't that always the case? But
because the technology wasn't always there.
But now it's there. Like,
yeah, but you also got to remember it's a business. They want to save money.
This is true. It's like, I'm just thinking about, like, travel, like, how in the world that's going to look. It's like, I don't know, everything is so up in the air, and that's what's scary for me. Yeah. It's because, like, kids, like what you said, they need to interact. Mm-hmm. They need to learn these things, like the sharing.
We're taking away, like, life from children.
We already took away a lot. Yeah. Like this year, like their high school, a lot of them can never have that memory back. Mm-hmm. Prom, they'll never have that memory back. Mm-hmm. And then kindergarten, like they're not getting the exchange. And then I kind of like what you said. It's like, where would the human side of things? We are grown. We know how to interact and go to a park and talk and chill and blah, 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 blah. We learned those skills. Mm-hmm. But like those kids, like development is really important.
It is,
and even
100%.
like a few months being off, how is that going to look moving forward? So it's like, a lot of things are scary and up in the air. But I guess that's dun 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 dun. So please share your comments underneath the episode on what you think post-COVID might look like. Also like, subscribe, follow, bear with us. We are hot. But until next time, peace.